outraged that it could not destroy our resistance.
Never!
It is outraged that it has been unable to beat us into submission. And what we see even today, 6 months in, from Palestinians in Gaza, from people in Yemen, from people in Lebanon, from people in the West Bank, in the refugee camps of Tul Karim and Jenin, is that we are still fighting. That we say that our fight is a fight against settler colonialism. It's a fight against white supremacy. Standing atop the rubble of their homes, amongst the dead bodies of their loved ones, all our respect to the resistance. And we will never give up our land. And everyone is out here today because we all believe in the right to dignity for all human beings, whether they be the people of Cuba, strangled by U.S. sanctions, indigenous people in the U.S., Canada, Australia, or the people of the Congo, Sudan, or Haiti.
That's right!
We believe that every human being has a right to a dignified life on their land, because as my sister Lamis said, land is life itself. Of indignity, death rather than humiliation. Okay, so repeat after me. It's in Arabic. الموت ولا المدلة، الموت ولا المدلة، الموت ولا المدلة، الموت ولا المدلة.
It's my pleasure to welcome next a dear friend and comrade who shows us what it truly means to put study into practice and to take it to the streets. Please help me welcome Kate from the People's Forum. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! It is a beautiful day to be here with you all in the belly of the beast and crying for its demise. We are here today to celebrate Land Day and commemorate the years-long struggles of Palestinians for liberation, because just as we acknowledge the ongoing Nakba of 75 plus years of killing, of pillaging, of robbing Palestinians of life and land, we also recognize the even more ferocious, the even more determined, the even more dignified fight of Palestinians and in their homelands and across the world. Land Day happened 48 years ago, and in that moment Israel was seeking to expand, and Palestinians refused. They refused. It prohibited a general strike, they organized demonstrations and protests, and they were punished for it. And so today, we are here to honor that sacrifice and their memory. But also, how do we honor their sacrifice and their memory? We remember them, of course, but we also take action.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's very powerful, very beautiful to see my people here. After 170 some days, I lost count. But the fact that people are still coming to the streets until today raises a flag to the colonizers that we're not giving up. But it sends a stronger message to the people of Gaza that we're not leaving them alone. We're not leaving them alone, not out of empathy, but out of understanding that their struggle is our struggle. Out of understanding that their battle with evil is our battle with evil here. Our understanding that the Land Day, we are commemorating the Land Day today, not just out of anniversary that we celebrate and we shout, but it creates a binary binary in our understanding, a dichotomy in understanding of the Palestinian struggle. A binary between the colonizer and the colonized. The colonizer that claims that Palestine was a land without people for colonizers from Europe that needed the land. The colonizers claim that Palestine should be inhabited by the so-called civilized European white man because the colonizers thought that this land can be used as a rampart of Europe against barbaric Asia. The colonizers thought that the land of Palestine can be used as so-called civilization outpost in the region. The colonizers thought that this land doesn't belong to human beings, that they're willing to sacrifice their life for that land. The other side are the colonized, the indigenous people of the land that belong to the land that is for their ancestors, a blessed and holy land that to them is that everything they live for. The colonized, that they see the land not only a source of water and food, but a source of dignity and pride. The colonized, that understand that this land is the land of their civilization, the land of their culture, an image of their identity, an identity that settler colonial project is trying to erase 76 years after to succeed in their project of eliminating the indigenous people of the land of Palestine. 76 years after, and the people of Gaza are standing tall. 76 years after, 76 years after, and the youth of the colonial West are standing for justice. Who would have thought that the European colonizers in the 19th century, that the people for justice, the people for liberation will be standing here in the heart of the belly of the most cruel imperialist state in the world, standing up for justice. I want to wrap up and say that the fight for the land is everything to Palestinians. The land is everything. The land is life. And without life, there is death. And Palestinians are ready to die for their land. And the genocide in Gaza is committed to do one thing: to continue the land theft. But there is an obstacle for the colonizers, which is the resistance. The resistance has kept the Palestinian cause alive. The Palestinians have kept us alive. The resistance has kept our dignity alive. And the settler colonial project thinks that the only way to crush the resistance is to kill the people that support and breed resistance. The bombing of children and women and civilians, the destruction of hospitals is done in a way to remove and liquidate and eradicate any sense of safety, any sense of survival, so people leave the land and stop resisting. But guess what? 175 days and people of Gaza are saying, we will continue to resist. continues to sacrifice everything, including our lives, to this land, because the land of Palestine is our land, and without this land, there is no Palestine, and that will never happen. And finally, Zionism is an extension of the European colonial ideologies that existed and still exist until today. And I'm not saying this out of exaggeration. I can quote you Zionist pioneers like Herzl, who mentioned and he messaged Chamberlain from the so-called Great Britain, and there's nothing great about it. When he told him, I invite you for something colonial, he called the settler colonial project of Palestine something colonial. He knew what he was calling for. The Zionist leaders knew that they need to invoke the so-called civilizing mission in the region to get the colonial support from Europe. So when we are fighting Zionism, we are continuing our struggle here against racism and white supremacy. When we are fighting Zionism, it's part of our struggle against imperialism. It's part of our struggle against racism. It's part of our struggle against police cruelty. It's part of our struggle to create a free world for everybody. A world that respects the human dignity, and world that sees everybody equal, not everything through the Eurocentric lens that white means good and black means evil. And here, and I will end and forgive me for taking long, as the so-called Prime Minister, who's unfortunately Bernie Sanders, not unfortunately, it's expected, was celebrated, Golda Meir, she used to say that the old will die and the young will forget. But guess what? 76 years after, not only has the young not forgotten, not only is the youngest fighting in Gaza and resisting, the people of the colonial West is standing up for justice. Free Palestine.